Hey, it's Harley. Welcome to the Chaos Connections podcast, brought to you by MOC Media, LLC, and Moms of Chaos. Harley, Rain, and Raven, creating space for you to learn, thrive, and connect.
This is Raven. We need y'all to know that this podcast is hosted by people with tattoos, piercings, colorful language, no filters, and we are fiercely protective of the vulnerable among us. Make sure you want to be here. Or you can FAFO, your choice.
Hi, everybody. This is Rain. This episode contains topics some listeners may find uncomfortable. We are choosing to air it because we believe this subject matter is important to all women and people in general, not just any specific thing. Person, being, whatever.
However you identify.
Get into it. Pretty much. It's been a day.
So today's episode is going to be a little, I would say it's going to be less colorful, but let's be realistic. We're the Moms of Chaos and the Chaos Connections podcast. It's going to be equally colorful. But today is all about self-care and self-care as a person, as a woman, and as a mom. And we just want to share with you what that looks like to us and how we go about doing that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. So first, I think it's important to address what does self-care actually look like ideally? And self-care is a spectrum. Okay. There is
sure.
There's basic self-care that comes down to literally just personal hygiene, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, shaving or not shaving, or, putting lotion on, brushing your teeth. And it can go upwards to, more luxurious options.
Going to the spa.
Getting sugared.
I don't know whoever we were referring to. Raven.
I have not been to a spa in forever, you guys. That is just a blatant fabrication.
Sugaring.
Sugaring, for those of you less educated folk, is using hot liquefied sugar to remove the hair from your body part. It's basically waxing, but with sugar. So that way, when you go and lay out to tan your freshly hairless body, you can get eaten alive by ants. Enjoy.
Okay, so when you
has a thing on that one at all?
No. So when you are a person of the larger than you would like to be persuasion, and you have a shower stall that is built by a person that does not understand what most people need in a shower stall, shaving becomes something that you might see on Cirque du Soleil. Therefore, y'all, I'm going to go every 2 months and get sugared.
2 months, goddamn. Or, you know what? I now understand the Bigfoot sightings that happen in Texas.
Oh, fuck you.
It's Raven 12 hours before she goes to get sugared wearing shorts.
Oh, y'all are the legit worst. Okay.
She's not tall enough, so she would just, that might be, I don't know what mythical being that would be.
Well, the other option would be a skunk ape, which is the smaller, stinkier version of a Bigfoot, but they're called a skunk ape because apparently they allegedly have a very putrid smell that
I'm kind of glad our listeners cannot see me giving you the death glare right now.
Dude,
that's why I went with Bigfoot. That's why I went with Bigfoot. I'm getting death glares, you guys. All right, so
I'm over here just smirking.
Okay, so I have a confession to make. I have been thinking about this topic for like a week and a half. What do I do to actually take care of me that's beyond just the surface. And I was like, I don't have a goddamn clue. What do I do? And the only thing I could think of was today, as I'm sitting out in my garden and trying to count all the teeny tiny little caterpillars on the little milkweed that's left. And oh my God, they're so tiny. They're like this long. Oh my God, they're so cute.
They
And
cannot
just
see your
sitting there.
fingers.
That's true. But no, just sitting there with the wind in my hair and the birds and listening to kids playing down the street. And that was actually really peaceful and calming. So maybe
Yeah.
that's what I do is I go garden.
And you know what? I think that people have this preconceived notion about self-care is going and getting your hair done or going and getting, having some sort of superficial thing done to your body, to your physical appearance. And it's
And
more than
for
that.
sure it could
It's,
be.
self-care can definitely include those things. I'm not saying that you shouldn't care what you look like.
Right.
So self-care to me is one, it's the day-to-day, the making sure you eat, which I mean, we have a group chat that we're like, hey, have you eaten today? Because we are notorious for getting distracted and forgetting that, hey, we need sustenance.
How much water have you had today?
And then, if we're on video chat, I hold up the cup and I'm like, I've had this many of this cup. That was last night, but I'm also getting over being very sick. So they're kind of on my ass a lot right now.
Can't
So
imagine why.
I know, right?
Quite a bit.
Like
We're riding Rain's ass harder than she's been ridden in a while. Sorry, Captain.
yeah.
Oh, with that accent.
I don't know. Was that your pirate accent?
Oh dear God, I hope not. Okay, so since we are roasting Rain a little bit, we're roasting Rain a little bit, but it's important to remember that if you care for other human beings or fur babies, if you are responsible for their care, you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you are not doing something to recharge that cup and somebody says, hey, why the fuck are you doing that? Maybe don't get on their ass. Maybe go to the doctor if you're still coughing after 3 weeks of antibiotics and bullshit.
Right. So
call the doctor, right?
that actually kind of leads me into the next topic about self-care. But before we delve into it, before we get into that, what I was trying to say is self-care can be indulging in something that you enjoy. So for Raven, that's spending time in her garden and planting and, and doing what she can to nurture that and nurture the
goddamn caterpillars
and
that have one source of food and they're in the grass instead of on their food. Goddamn idiots.
Anyway. And her little baby bunnies in her garden, that's what Raven does. Okay. Sometimes it can be just taking a nice mental break for yourself. I know Rain has done this. I'm guilty of it. I'm sure Raven can confess to this too. You go into the black hole of whatever social media platform, TikTok, Facebook Reels, YouTube, Snapchat,
even. I would not spend hours on Reddit. What are you talking about?
Right?
No, not hours on Reddit at all.
No, never.
But that although it might seem so silly to somebody else, taking the time to do something that is just for you to be able to take a mental break and just decompress for a little bit, that can also be self-care. And quite honestly, for me, self-care for me also includes doing this podcast. Like, this is like a pet project. I cannot tell you how long and how many times the subject of us starting a podcast has come up in conversation when we're talking about random, chaotic, crazy shit going on in our lives. And we're like,
So
we
how
need to
this
do a
actually
podcast. We
started?
need to share this.
So how this
Oh, for
actually
sure.
started was we were in the smoke shack with Captain, and we're trying to convince him to do a podcast. So if you're following any of our socials, at this point, it's been about a week.
You might run across him.
You may run across him because he decided that since he, popped in and said hello on the last episode, that if we get double the downloads from the day that he saw it, which was only 10, we're just starting out, so that's acceptable. And we get comments on his voice, he will start his own podcast. So if y'all want to hear that voice on its own podcast for 30 to 45 minutes, there you go.
BT dubs for our listeners. The episode that Captain makes an appearance on actually drops tomorrow, April 18th.
Oh,
so
there we go.
You will be able, we're recording. Well, I just told you we're recording this on April 17th. Cat's out of the bag. We've pre-recorded our podcast. Oh my God. Sue me. Please don't. I'm just shitting with you. We need to edit ourselves. You don't understand the level of flatulence that we have to edit out of our videos, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my
Excuse
God.
me.
Random fuckery.
Let's go ahead and add the fact that someone who should not eat a lot of ice cream does eat a lot of ice cream.
My lactose intolerance has actually diminished considerably. Anyway, okay. Moving on.
Back to self-care.
Back to self-care.
And I was going to finish saying that the part that I was starting because y'all kept going. So
I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's more directed at Harley. Don't worry about it.
I was told that I don't know how to shut up today.
What?
Was that the first time that you've heard that?
That shouldn't be new news because that
in a work setting, yes.
It depends. Okay, so honestly, it depends on how passionate you get about stuff because there are times that you're hyped about something and getting you to shut up is literally like I would have to, put a cookie in your mouth just to shut you up. And you'd still be talking around the cookie waiting to get slapped because you're talking with food in your mouth. Yes, by the way,
there is one surefire way to get me to stop talking, and Joker is the only one with the equipment to do it.
I do not need to see his dick going in your mouth at all.
Ever. Thank you.
No, I'm good.
Happy y'all have a great sex life, but I don't need to be a witness.
Okay. Although just to I'm so sorry to anybody who knows me on a personal level that may be listening to this podcast. Just skip over the next 10 seconds. I achieved a new level of gold medal. I gave myself pharyngitis.
Anyway.
You stabbed your goddamn vocal cords with it?
Apparently repeatedly.
Taking deep throating to a whole new level.
Dude, I'm known as the Soul Sucker 9000, and I haven't given myself laryngitis by giving it. Okay, so...
You gotta stretch it out a little bit. Anyway, excuse me. I'm so sorry.
So back to self-care. Right. So what self-care is...
By the way, listeners, personal listeners, this is a safe point. Rain, continue.
Thank you. So self-care is generally making sure that you eat, making sure that you're drinking, doing your basic skills or basic self-maintenance. And then
if you're one of our new people, hold on, I'll get back to you, Rain, on purpose. If you're one of our new people that has family that is not very supportive of you, hi, we're your new aunties now. I need you to take your meds, drink your water, and let me know if you've eaten today. Okay, go back.
And we do have...
And make sure you're pooping regularly.
And that, of course, would be Harley.
Also, no, I don't want to know about your poops.
I really don't. But if you...
You don't want to hear about the Nerf gun rabbit pellets?
Harley, shush.
Really don't. I'm good.
Harley, shush.
That's going to be edited out.
So yes, if your family is not accepting and you need a family, we're it. Hi, we're your aunties. If you want one of us to step in the mom role, we are the moms of chaos. So there you go. We do have.
So you're welcome, or we're sorry, whichever works.
We also have our, Rain, Harley, and Raven have their own Instagram and Facebook accounts. Feel free to follow us there.
Oh yeah, please.
And we post random things at all times, so have fun. But
all of our Instagrams are our names dot moms of chaos.
I think
So
Facebook is the same way.
Harley.moms of chaos, Raven.moms of chaos, Rain.moms of chaos.
my Facebook's
Side note,
Rain Chaos. That's Facebook.
Yeah.
My
Rain's
Facebook is just
Facebook is
Harley.
Rain Chaos. So if your self-care is baking or cooking, or crafting, go ahead and hit up Rain because she's awesome at that. If your self-care is gardening or stretching or working out, feel free to hit me up. Harley, what should I tell them for you?
Movie recommendations.
Ooh, good one.
If your self-care involves taking a mental break and literally just getting lost in a different world, whether it's reading a good book, reading a Reddit thread, or whatever, if your self-care includes a mental break, I'm your girl, because I wholeheartedly encourage it. And I think it's good and safe and healthy to have a little bit of an escape every once in a while. And Raven, we can.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That was apprentice number 2 asking if we had more pine nuts because they went ham on the container last night.
Need more pine nuts.
Sorry, right. Carry on. My bad.
Go ahead, Rain.
So yeah, those are the things that I do. What Raven said, the cooking, crafting, random walks in nature is something that I think everybody should do every now and again. It's
highly recommend.
A good reset. And then of course, do an at-home spa night, which I mean we will get into more when we go to the next thing, but you can do an at-home spa night. Get the single-use masks, whatever. You could do it with your kids. You could do it with your significant other. But take that time and do the additional. And another thing that Raven does that she did not think to touch on is she actually has a nighttime routine of self-care where she washes her face and then does all of the moisturizers and stuff, because I was doing that and then I got sick, and I am making sure I wash my face, but I have fallen to the wayside on moisturizers, which at my age I definitely need that because wrinkles are a thing.
Now that you mention it, when I get to sit down and put my eye cream on and just kind of like gently press my fingers to my eyelids with that eye cream on, it's just like some kind of something melts off. I don't know what happens, but it's just like, okay, all right, I can relax now.
Yeah. No, and
it's weird.
And this bouncing back to the comment that Raven made earlier, and I've actually used this quote before, and for the life of me, I do not know the source of it. So if you know the source of it, feel free to comment and tag us. You can use the hashtag Chaos Connections or hashtag Chaos Connections podcast, and we will definitely pick up on it and see it. Or again, you can hit us up on Instagram or Facebook. But you cannot pour from an empty cup. So you cannot adequately care for others in your life who you may desperately want to care for. And in a parent-child situation, you kind of need to care for them. But if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not making sure that your cup is full, you have nothing left to give. If your cup is empty, you cannot pour anything into others. You have nothing to give because you have not taken the time to fulfill and take care of yourself. It's so important that you need to you need to remember, I tell my kids this, you know, if you don't put yourself first, who else is going to?
Exactly. And it does not have to be in a selfish, I'm always first kind of way.
No,
Harley.
no, but there's a time
but
that
like
you have
for
to put yourself
example,
first because
yes,
you can't go 90-0 nonstop and
no,
expect to
not
be able
forever.
to maintain that momentum because then you're just going to burn out. And
Oh yeah, and like we all know that parent guilt is a real thing, right? Like, oh my god, I didn't feed my child a balanced meal today. You know what? It's okay as long as they're getting balanced meals most of the time. Give them cereal for dinner and go to bed early and get some sleep for yourself. It's okay.
Let me
It's
tell you,
perfectly fine.
let me tell you something. My two middle children, they're both girls. I cannot tell you how many times that I have done the parental, did you eat today? What did you eat?
Mm-hmm.
Because especially if I sometimes I work remote and I'm home so I can actually like make sure that they're getting sustenance. Other times I have to go into the office, and when I get home, I will ask them, "What did you eat?" And there are times that my kids will tell me, "I had 2 cups of Easy Mac." Cool. There are times my kids will tell me, "I had a bowl of cereal because that's what I wanted." Cool. There are times my kids will tell me, "I felt like making myself some scrambled eggs." Great.
Yeah. You're
They
getting calories in you, you're taking care of yourself, and it'll all wash out.
right. And so having
but it's also making sure
indulging
that
in
you're
McDonald's every once in a while isn't going to kill anybody
no,
It's really
unless you
not.
have high cholesterol, in which case obey your doctor's orders and don't listen to Harley.
Disclaimer, Harley is not a licensed physician.
No,
so
no, I'm not. They won't give me that license.
oh hell no. He's just
No, because it would also involve giving you sharp implements.
no, it would be giving her the ability to write prescriptions.
Oh, that.
Whoa,
Oh, wait a
whoa,
minute.
whoa, 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 whoa! All right,
Honey,
listen.
honey, you I understand that this is not the episode that we're talking about mental health, but we do have mental health issues, all three of us, including our, and then you add on the rest of the household. We'll get into that later.
Yeah. Yep.
That's next week's episode. No, I'm sorry, that's not next week's episode. That's the week after. Apologies.
But it is coming up. So if y'all hear this one and you want to give us some tips or ideas, hit up our website or our socials.
Yeah, mocmediatx.com. You can communicate with us, and we get instant notifications, baby. So you never know what you're going to get. You might get a snarky response from Harley. You might get a motherly, lovely response from Rain. You might get a FAFO from Raven. You never know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would like it to be known that, yes, when we were setting up our contacts and everything else for MOC Media, the one of us that was setting this up decided that my name was not going to be Rain on the emails. This person decided my name was Mama because I kind of become the mom of the group in any group that I'm in.
She's our adultier adult.
And
she is.
What's funny about this is I'm also kind of a bitchy mom, and I'm aware of this. And the one of us out of the three that does the gentle parenting until the fuse is done and she said gentle things about 1,600 times would be Raven. So I don't know how I became Mama Chaos, but apparently I'm Mama Chaos. And
yes, you are.
So there's that. That's why the motherly thing would be there.
Rain is very much a caregiver, and that's
very much.
And quite honestly, I think that sometimes part of her caregiving to others is actually serving a dual purpose of also self-care, because
yes,
it's self-fulfilling to her to know that she's able to help fulfill somebody else's needs.
And that's where Harley and I come in, is to make sure that Rain doesn't burn herself out doing too much of that and not taking care of herself.
I also want to point out that there ADHD is a thing. And I decided I wanted to clean before I moved into my current house. I was in a mood to clean. And I got yelled at, and then I got yelled at on text, and then I got phone calls because I decided to say I want to move the fridge because next to the fridge is gross, and I want to move the stove because it's gross.
She wanted to move them by her little 4'12" self.
Fuck off.
This was shortly after she had had a car accident and suffered back injuries, which still have lingering effects, ladies and gentlemen.
It was a year and
So
a half.
yes,
It was a year and a half after the accident.
It was also before you and I started lifting weights and gaining muscle and strength.
And then we stopped doing that.
Harley and I were in the right.
And then we stopped doing that.
I know, we need to get back to that.
Raven and Harley mommed the fuck out of Rain.
Yeah, and then you told Captain so he could yell at me when he got home.
Yep.
Assholes.
Yep, it's a thing. Sorry. Oh, please, like you two wouldn't call Dar and rat me out if I was doing something inappropriate or unsafe.
We wouldn't have it.
I already know. I'm pretty sure it's already happened that you guys have ratted me out to Joker on at least one occasion. I know Rain has. Raven, I don't think you have contact with Joker, and I'm going to keep it that way.
Not yet.
Let me put it to you this way. So, like we said in our intro episode, Harley and I did not like each other. The reason we are friends is because of Joker. I was friends with Joker before I knew Harley. So, damn straight I ratted her ass out.
See, and there's another way we can practice self-care is by spending time with friends, people that make us laugh, people that lift us up.
Exactly. And keep in mind the banter that you hear between myself, Rain, and Raven, we all have an understanding and we all know that there is a line that you do not cross. And we are very mindful to respect that line with one another. And so if you are going to partake in self-care in the form of spending time with those that you love and care about, great, but you need to make sure that those people have a respect for you as an individual and for you and your boundaries, because if they don't value you and your boundaries and they're constantly pushing you to bend who you are, they are not your people.
No, they're not. And we will, you contact us and we will help you find the backbone. We'll give you the stepping stool to lift yourself up.
We will help you find local resources to.
Yep, absolutely.
We will help you. We will. So I'm sorry, Rain, you were talking and I interrupted you.
No, that's
again.
Yeah, but no, they're right. If you are not being lifted up by your social circle, if the people that are supposedly your friends are making you feel less than, they're not your people. And sometimes it's better to say "fuck you, bye," and stand on
don't let the door hit you.
Stand on your own. The truth of it is you're not as alone as you think. Be it
you're not.
The Moms of Chaos community or Chaos Connections community, however you want to look at it. Be it other friends that you may have not been in contact with because this other toxic person was taking up too much of your time. There's a lot that you don't see because you're stuck in the middle of it, so you can't see the forest through the trees. But downshifting a little bit, another simple way for self-care, and yes, I am witchy. That's not something that's ever skimmed away from by any means. We're all different paths here. But one of the things that I like to do is when I take a shower, especially if you're going through it and you're in a funk and you're like, you know what? You have to talk yourself into getting in the shower because we all have had those depression episodes and they suck.
Oh man, talking myself into washing my hair because it's needed, but the energy drain. Anyway,
so
showering.
One of the things, especially if you're going through it, or even if you're not, visualize the ick and what isn't serving you and what is draining you and dragging you down. Visualize the ick being washed off of you and going down the drain with the bubbles of your body wash or whatever. It's something that seems very mundane, but it actually adds that little bit of mysticism that makes sense.
Okay, so I'm not witchy, but I do this in the shower with all of the hair that comes out when I wash my hair, especially with those little fuckers that migrate down to your butt crack. I'm like, I get so much joy out of picturing something that is pissing me off and just watching it wash down the drain. You two cannot tell me you haven't had this happen. Even Dar has had this happen.
It's
just a long hair thing.
I know what the problem is. The problem is I'm clenching my butt cheeks because I can imagine the sensation of the hair being like slid out. Oh God. Oh God. Okay. Changing topics.
Please. I still am having trouble with laughing without having a coughing fit, so I had to keep muting myself because y'all kept making me laugh, you fuckers.
Oh,
no, you're not.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. All right. So getting back to the topic of self-care and not hair being pulled out of your ass crack.
It's cathartic, damn it.
Rain talked about this earlier. Self-care, doing something as simple as like a spa night at home.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like something so extravagant and so out of the realm of possibility for maybe people who have limited incomes. But honestly,
hit me up.
You can
pause for a second, Harley. You can always hit me up. I know stuff that you probably have in your kitchen that you can use for a home spa night. If I actually remember, I will try to post those.
And I just got an idea that we'll visit later.
But you can literally pick up like $1 or $2 face masks from Walmart and
CVS
and
Dollar Tree.
and you can
Dollar Tree has those little pedicure manicure kits.
And
you can do something that seems indulgent, and you can do it on a budget. And whether you spend $5 on your spa night or $500 on your spa night, the effect is still going to be the same because it's you taking time to take care of you. And again, I'm going to tell you, like I tell my kids, if you don't take the time to put yourself first, nobody else will.
Nobody else will. And honestly, and I've told Apprentice this too until I'm blue in the face, but nobody on this planet is going to read your mind and figure out what you need if you don't tell them.
Communication is definitely key.
So
with things like that.
I understand that some of us might have, and some of us might have a hard time voicing our needs and our wants. And that's okay. Write it down if you can't speak it. If there's something that you need from somebody,
having an issue, write a letter.
Let's.
Another thing that is cathartic self-care that I push, and I need to get back in the habit of doing. So I'm writing myself out that I'm not practicing this, and I need to get to it. So y'all feel free to call me out online. I get that. Journaling, because there are times that you cannot make sense of what your thoughts are. If you journal, there's journal prompts that you can find everywhere. There's, and we can even come up with some. I'm not saying that I'm going to have that ready tomorrow, but it's possible. Journal prompts. If you're the artsy type, like Witchkin 2 is, a prompt for, hey, do a drawing or a painting of something that makes you feel X or something along those lines. That's a form of self-care.
One of my younger daughter today, we were talking about coping skills, and coping skills can also feed into self-care. And she mentioned something that I didn't even think about, and it's kind of along the lines of journaling. But if words and articulation are not your strong suit, and even if you're not artistic like Witchkin too, just do angry drawing. Just do an angry drawing.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
you like it.
There is a book.
There are artists who literally slap and throw paint onto a canvas and sell it for buku bucks.
There's also a journal
a
that
lot
says
of that
Rex's
is them
journal.
expressing emotion.
It is.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
And if you
awesome.
don't like it later, you can paint over that canvas.
Exactly. And I think we've kind of been talking about this, but we can continue along this line, is how do you learn and develop self-care? How do you discover what self-care works for you? And honestly, it all comes down to trial and error,
No
because
person has the
for
same
me,
formula as the other person. What works for me may not work for Harley or Raven or Witchkin 2 or Witchkin 1.
Exactly.
But we can give ideas, and you can take an eclectic blend of everything that we're saying, and that may work for you, or just one thing may work for you. And if you have health concerns and your doctors want you to do certain things, yeah, it's going to take some time to get there, but it takes 21 days to form a full habit. It takes 3 days to break it. And that sucks.
Right? Because humans are crazy.
I don't know about you guys, but ADD is bitch. And I'm like, hey, okay, I'm going to start doing this. It's in my head. I'm going to do it. I have my to-do list. And then by the time the day's coming to a close, I'm like, I'm fucking done. I'm just going to go crawl in bed, and hopefully I don't get shoved out of my bed by my 4 dogs. So, which has happened. I have ended up on the floor because my dogs are dicks. I have a king-size bed, but that doesn't matter.
So just like Rain said, no two people are the same. Yes, you might find people who have similar and maybe overlapping self-care routines, but if you break down their entire self-care routine and what they do for their personal self-care, no two people are going to be the same. So Rain mentioned journaling. For me, journaling doesn't help, because for me, in my mind, usually when I'm feeling like I need to get something out of my mind, like if there's like a repetitive thought type of situation, usually it's a negative thought that I'm dwelling on. And what I started doing is I started writing down the negative thought, and then I started writing down the counter arguments to try to change my thought process. You know what I mean? Like if I'm telling myself that I'm not doing, okay, I tell myself that maybe I tell myself, this is just an example. Maybe I tell myself, you know what, I could be a better mom. I'm not a good mom because my kid is struggling with X, Y, or Z. So I would write that thought down, and then I would write the counter argument. And the counter argument would be, yes, my child may be struggling with this, but I am doing X, Y, and Z to try to help them. Yes, this may be going on, but I am doing all within my power to do the best that I can to help them. And that's all you can do, is the best that you can do. Nobody can ask more than that. But what I realized,
that's also something that is it's trying to retrain your brain. And I can't remember exactly what it's called right now.
Yeah.
But
there's cognitive behavioral.
Yes, it's cognitive behavioral, but it's it's part of a journal that I've actually seen, and we may be having a journal planner thing come out that is MOC Media, but it's you put
Well,
your negative thought, and then you have your, what that thought should what you're turning that thought into. And you have to come up with it.
yeah.
And it's
What
something that
I
it's not something that's easy, especially if you've been talked down to and everything else. And not to mention your internal monologue is just being an asshole and needs to go to therapy and
Yeah.
yeah.
stop bringing you down. It's being fucking
And
It is literally reshaping and retraining your brain and your thought process. But
we're gonna later on, we're gonna have an episode where we do talk about retraining your brain and some different strategies for that.
yeah,
Sorry,
but
we get off
what
topic.
I
Go figure.
realized for me personally is that form of journaling, although it did help me to change my thought process, it actually developed further than that, because I started feeling like by writing out these negative thoughts and giving them a voice, it felt like it felt like I was almost empowering that negativity just by writing it down and acknowledging it. So what I ultimately wound up doing is I do it mentally. Like I might have a negative thought, but literally, because I did that journaling initially, my thought process literally flips to, Harley, stop kicking yourself in the ass so hard. You're doing what you can. You're doing X, Y, and Z. And again, if you're doing all that you can, that is all that anybody can ever ask and expect of you. You are never going to perform the same as person B.
You're also never.
You're two different people. You're gonna do things differently.
The only person that you're really needing to compare yourself to is yourself. The only person that you need to be happy with you is yourself. And that goes back to, you cannot pour from an empty cup. But sometimes, yes, I will go ahead and route us all out. We all three of us, we go to therapy. And I think therapy is good for everybody.
Yep.
Normalize the fuck out of therapy, because that is what General Organa wanted us to do.
Normalize mental health and
Awareness.
mental well-being and mental wellness and mental health awareness. Exactly.
But mental health awareness, and this is where I can kind of lose people. Mental health awareness is a thing. And yes, you do need to take mental health days. But also, we need to get rid of the stigma that is attached to certain mental health disorders. Because, you say one thing and people are going to be like, okay, are they going to flip a switch? And I mean, you've known this person for how long? And then you find out, oh, they're bipolar. Does that really change who they are because you know of their diagnosis? No. But it may make certain things make sense, but you don't have that full on understanding of it if you don't ask the questions. And understanding what somebody that is close to you is going through mentally is a thing. One thing that can be self-care is music. Listening to music. Oh my God. Listening to music on full blast in the car. It's like, dude, I don't want anybody talking to me. I'm belting out this song. I don't give a shit that I have no time. Y'all are going to fucking deal with it. But
I'm not even going to lie. It has been on repeat. The album has been on repeat in my car for about a week now. And
what's the album?
Judge me if you want. IDGAF. It is the soundtrack to The Greatest Showman.
Oh my God. Okay, those
Fuck
two
yes.
love that. The one that
fuck yes. Look, I have a personally curated playlist on Spotify of songs that I like, that I like to sing to, like different vibes, and at least 3 Greatest Showman songs are in there.
And it includes the Chaos Connections podcast.
It does, actually. I like to listen to it in traffic sometimes.
What's in my current Spotify list? Because I normally just kind of go from the top of whatever I find, which can too tends to give me some songs, and they sometimes are good, and sometimes I'm sitting there going, "Kid, you gotta remember I'm your mom." Um, and okay, so currently I'm listening to a lot of Bad Omens. I'm listening to one of my favorite songs right now is called Punching Bag, and that is by Set It Off. So right now it's a lot of I got some Butcher Babies in there. I got a lot of stuff that's all kind of different.
I can't even lie. Like, music is so therapeutic to me.
Oh, yeah.
Because, and it's been proven that music can have an impact on your actual, like,
Oh, for
vital
sure.
signs, like your heart rate, your breathing rhythm, all of those things. It can have an impact on those things. Just music by itself.
Yeah.
And it's so
And also,
undervalued,
let's
but
not forget getting on a
even
call with
even
your
just
best friend or
even
friends
just
and screaming about
Be like, what the fuck is this
like,
shit? You
what
guys
the
have to listen to
you're
this.
not going to believe the shit that I just had to fucking deal with, and I had to bite my goddamn tongue because holy shit. And da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It happens.
Yep.
And it happens fairly regularly. At least one of us is like, "Oh my fucking god, we got to get on a call." Um,
Yeah.
let me be cautious here and say it happens about once a week. That is
that's
being
At
cautious.
least.
overly cautious, because one once once a week is very much an underestimation. But y'all don't
Oh,
need
yeah.
to know how crazy these bitches
You're
can
getting
get.
an idea.
Okay,
I
you're
mean,
not
you'll
ready for
probably
that.
find out, and I'm sorry, or
Oh
you're
no, it's
welcome.
just you're welcome. We are a goddamn delight, and you better get on board with that.
I mean, seriously, we are fucking beautiful and delightful, and everybody should be so lucky as to hang out with us.
Well, we will talk about that at a later
Right?
date.
That's just my personal
Absolutely.
feelings.
Maybe we'll get there at some point if
All
as
right.
this podcast grows and our community flourishes.
Maybe,
So
possibly,
speaking of community,
maybe one day you'll get to see what our lovely faces look like. But mind
maybe.
you, my hair will be freshly did. Thank you. And my
Yes.
eyebrows will be waxed, and so will my upper lip.
Hell yes. Oh God, the upper lip. Thanks, Grandma. So speaking of community, our website, mocmediatx.com, has a way for you to contact us. It has a way for you to sign up for updates, and get this, it has a forum on there where you can talk to other people and find connections and things in common and be like, oh my God, this part of parenting is normal. I had no fucking clue. I thought I was just miserable. So please check it out. Please let us know what you like, what you don't like. Get out on the forum.
Yeah, give us, and again, you can communicate with us through the website. And there is also an app as well. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, all three of us have the app on our phones. So we will actually receive those notifications. And please remember that we are doing a podcast. We are just starting out. So we do all have normal things, everyday life. So we might not respond instantaneously, but we will most likely respond.
But we will.
We will most likely respond. I'm going to go ahead and say within 24 hours. Realistically, it'll
for
probably
sure.
be less than that, but within 24 hours, you'll have a response from us. So we're here. We're willing and happy and wanting to engage. So please
At
feel
some point,
free.
there may be a Patreon. I'm not sure. I'm still looking into that because I'm the social media person. And
Rain is our lovely CIO and the mama chaos
which
of
is
all
why
of our
they're slow
socials.
starting because I've been sick as crap for the last 3
She has. She
At
really
one point,
has.
I had next to no voice.
You guys
We were
don't
gonna-
know this, but we are trying to set up a schedule to make sure that we're recording so that we can have content coming out regularly for you guys. I know previously we had talked about every 2 weeks. We are actually
We
enjoying this.
said, fuck that.
We are actually enjoying this so much that we are going to be uploading on a weekly basis. You may, if you go to the mocmediatx.com website, there may or may not be some little extra snippets on there for you to listen to, bloopers, outtakes, all sorts of fun stuff. So the stuff that you hear us comment about editing and post, yeah, you might actually hear the unedited version on our website. But thank you so much to everybody for listening, and thank you for your continued support and feedback. We're going to be trying to incorporate listener comments into future episodes. As always, you can reach us at Chaos Connections on your favorite social media app, or head over to our website, again, mocmediatx.com, to leave comments. Again, you can interact with others. You can even interact with us. But this is Harley just signing off and saying thank you so much for joining
This is
us.
Raven. Not Raven.
Yeah.
This is Rain. I know
You're
you're
not
Raven.
Raven. I'm Raven.
I was looking at your name and I was trying to say mine. I'm still apparently
My
a little
gorgeous little
busy.
face.
But this is Rain. I hope that you are enjoying our shenanigans, and we will keep them coming.
All right, thanks, y'all. This is Raven. We'll
Bye.
see you later.
Bye.
Good night.